The fireworks are going off at Lincoln Financial Field as the Eagles have beaten the Cowboys 17-9, your final score, and taking control of the NFC East. Thanks for joining us on the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh. Amy Campbell, as always, joined by Fran Duffy and Ike Reese. Good moods in here today. There's going to be a party in South Philadelphia tonight. Ike, we'll start with you. Initial thoughts here. A lot of excitement for this, a massive win.
Yeah, obviously a big win. You know, waiting for the past 3 or 4 weeks to get to this game, having it mean something. Obviously, the NFC East lead online. Eagles still got a little bit of work to do next week versus the New York Giants, but this was the game they had to have at home. Undermanned, going up against this Dallas Cowboy team that's coming off a big victory last week against the Los Angeles Rams where they put up 44 points at home. Eagles underdogs at home. I mentioned undermanned in this game offensively. Really just a gutsy win, man. When we get to the keys of the game, I'll just jump out there early. Just an awesome job by Doug Pederson.
Yeah.
Getting this team ready to play today. Great game plan called. Jim Schwartz also. Awesome job on the defensive side of the ball. This is the #1 offense in the NFL. I just mentioned they scored 44 last week versus the Rams, and the fact that they're able to hold this team to 3 field goals today, man, coaches, awesome job by the coaches today. Awesome
I felt
job.
like you could really see the disparity in the coaching, the way these 2 games were called, and so much credit to Doug Pederson, which I definitely want to get into here. But Fran, let's get to your initial reaction off this one.
I mean, just there's so much. You mentioned Doug Pederson with what he did offensively with the game plan. You took that pass rush out of the game. You're worried about DeMarcus Lawrence going up against Halapoulivaati Vaitai. What did we hear Lawrence's name? Once, twice in this game. They had to move him around. He was rotated in and out. They did an awesome job just keeping that Dallas defensive front on their toes, guys. I mean, you saw play action, misdirection. You saw a mix-in of tempo. We saw the screen game. We saw the Wildcat. We saw plenty of play action. Unbelievable job offensively. And then defensively, look, I know it was scary at the end. This was the #1 third down offense in football. They went 3 of 14 on third down today. Like, awesome job by that Eagles defense.
Absolutely awesome. And I think when we look at this offense, it was almost the story to me of this game was just you continue to have this next man up mentality and see that the Eagles have been doing so much. When another player goes down, another player goes down. We saw Zach Ertz miss time in this one. We saw, like you said, Greg Ward in the Wildcat there. Just so many different things that Doug Pederson had to creatively do, and it worked against this Dallas defense today.
Man, just I'm thinking back on this game, and I'm thinking about the play calling, the first 2 drives of this game where they just had the Cowboys on their heels. Eagles able to go down and get points on the first 2 drives of the game. And credit to Doug getting these guys ready to go and really trusting them, right? There's no way around it. He was going to have to utilize these young guys. And great job of Carson trusting these young guys. Greg Ward, another awesome job today catching the ball. And then really the best game of Dallas Goedert's career, I thought today. Just a nice job being that go-to guy for Carson. Zach banged up a little bit when he got stretched out earlier in the game. And really, I think what they did was flipped Goddard and Ertz as far as the roles with the tight ends because Dallas became really the featured guy. And I think Zach was out there trying to gut his way through that rib injury today. So hats off to him as well. This is how important the game was. Derek Barnett, you know, not being able to play the last couple of weeks, didn't really practice all week, out there with a hurt ankle, giving them something. This was one of those games where you were going to need everyone to chip in, and they got it done today.
One of the biggest storylines coming into this game was this is going to be the biggest game of Carson Wentz's career, right? This is going to be a career-defining moment for him coming into this season. He had never played a game like this, never a win or go home kind of situation, and that's exactly what he had here today. What did he go? 31 of 40, over 300 yards and a touchdown. I thought Carson Wentz was outstanding today. He had a couple of big runs, avoided sacks. He did an outstanding job today. With a limited cast, because not only was Zach Ertz out for a majority of this game, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was in and out of the lineup. They had a number of injuries on the offensive side of the football. No Lane Johnson once again. What can you say about number 11?
Yeah.
Man, what a run he has been on, really, since the Miami Dolphins game, where I think he started to find his mojo. Carried that into an outstanding week. Monday night against the Giants, we all know what that win was. And then last week versus Washington. Fran, you said it. this game, I knew once he acknowledged that this was the biggest game of his career, he was going to have a good game. It's one thing to run away from that title, right? Biggest game of your career, because you want to sort of downplay it because you don't know what the outcome of it was going to be. But he, early in the week, acknowledged it. Seemed to me like he embraced the moment, was looking forward to the moment, missed out on the opportunity to play in these type of games 2 years ago. And I think he was itching to get back in this moment. And this, like you said, was a playoff game. This was a playoff game for him. They lose today, season is over with. Next week may as well be a preseason game. It did not matter if they lost today. This was a win or your season is over type of game. So I think he did a nice job answering the bell in his first sort of do or die game.
Yeah, I want to get into some of Carson's numbers and break down that game a little bit more from his perspective. But Dave Spadera standing by from Lincoln Financial Field. Dave, I cannot even imagine what the vibes are like in there right now. Just what is the energy like in that place? Are people? I can see kind of behind you, people are starting to leave, but I imagine there's going to be a party in South Philadelphia tonight.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, what a great crowd. Energy was awesome the whole way through. And, you know, the Eagles played into that energy. I asked somebody before the game, kind of one of my routines, how are we going to win this game today? And he said, we're going to punch them in the mouth. We're going to beat them physically. And that's what the Eagles really did today. They went toe-to-toe with the Dallas Cowboys, particularly on the defensive side. They didn't get to Dak Prescott a ton early on, though. They got to him here and there, and it was obvious that Prescott wasn't quite as sharp, having not practiced all week, as he'd been in the past. What a great job the defense did physically against the most physical running back in the league, Ezekiel Elliott. And the offense, Carson Wentz, you talked about it, Fran and Ike and Amy, the poise, the smart decision-making, didn't force his throws, ate the football when it wasn't there, ran when there were opportunities to run, a couple of design runs. I love the wildcat look with Greg Ward in the backfield, a good bit of innovation there. So the Eagles, I mean, they dragged out everything in their playbook. The place here was jumping. What a great Eagles victory today. One of the all-timers. Defensive struggle in Week 16.
Yeah, I love it, Dave. I want to stay on that side of the ball, man. The defense, in my opinion, really came out and set the tone. I know the offense got the ball first and went down and picked up points, but the way the defense played, particularly in that first half when the offense stalled, I think really set the tone for this game. Just talk about the job Malcolm Jenkins did today. I thought Malcolm was everywhere out there on the field, making big stops on Ezekiel Elliott. Really a great job from Jim Schwartz with a great game plan against this Cowboys offense, where he had struggled in the past against this Cowboys offense.
Absolutely. Malcolm Jenkins reached deep 2 days after his 32nd birthday and came up with an enormous amount of energy. He was quick to the football. Again, he was physical with Ezekiel Elliott, who didn't run over players like he's done in the past here. The Eagles really didn't let Elliott, a couple runs to the left side, got downhill, but for the most part, they got to Elliott when they had to in the backfield, slowed him down a little bit. And the versatility of Malcolm Jenkins in this defense really paying off today. Jim Schwartz moving him around, putting him in positions where he could have an impact in short yardage areas, and Malcolm delivered. I thought Avonte Maddox was great in coverage. The Eagles overcame injuries to Jalen Mills. Fletcher Cox is out there playing with one arm. The Eagles, they just kept coming and coming and coming defensively, never lost their sense of unity, no blown assignments today. They tackled well. Best defensive performance of the season from an Eagles team that is so much different defensively at Lincoln Financial Field than they've been on the road. Eagles really brought their A game defensively tonight.
Yeah, 13 carries for 47 yards, 3.6 yards per carry for Ezekiel Elliott. This defense really did the job against one of the best running backs in the NFL. Dave, take us through the next step now. And you're so tied in to this locker room, to this coaching staff. What does this mean now going into Week 17? We know what the playoff scenario is now. Win and we're in. What does this mean now for the mood of this locker room going into this week?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the entire city is energized. Eagles everywhere are energized. Now, the key here is I believe Doug will give them Monday and Tuesday off, get them back for a walkthrough on Wednesday. It's very important to get everybody who's banged up treatment right away and get those emotional reserves going against. Won't be an easy game on Sunday against the Giants team that's rookie quarterback Daniel Jones threw 5 touchdown passes today to beat the Redskins. So it'll be a tough one at MetLife Stadium. but you feel like this team has come such a long way here in these last 3 games, led by a quarterback who is just not making mistakes and an offense that trusts that it can run the football and match up and go toe-to-toe. With a playoff game on the line next week, it's just hard to see the Eagles coming out flat emotionally. So, Fran, I think Doug's first thing is get the players back physically, get them back emotionally, and then later in the week, get ready for a Giants team that you just saw a month ago.
All right, Dave, I know that locker room is probably going to be very exciting tonight, so we will catch up with you a little bit later. Thanks.
All righty, thanks, guys.
Very good perspective there about looking ahead. And, of course, we are going to keep breaking down this game and not look ahead too much until a little bit later. But let's talk about the path to the playoffs for the Eagles. Essentially, a win next week seals the deal for Philadelphia. If they lose next week against the Giants, then also the Cowboys would need to lose to Washington in order for the Eagles to advance. The Eagles will not advance if they lose and Dallas wins next week. So, really, again, controlling their own destiny like we've been saying all season long. And I think well said by Dave to not overlook this Giants team that this Eagles team had success against earlier. But let's go back to Carson Wentz and how he is just continuing to get hotter and hotter. How do you build on a performance like this today, Fran?
To me, one of the big things that stood out to me, guys, was that watching that team early, Wentz, I know, 31 of 40 on the day, but a couple of those catches were big-time catches by his guys. That wasn't just, all automatic screen passes and guys were wide open. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, first play of the game, made an outstanding catch over the middle of the field. Later in the drive on 3rd and long, makes a diving catch to the sideline. The catch that Dallas Cowboys made was a great throw by Wentz, but he had to go up and get it. It was a big-time catch. Seeing those guys come back and make plays, that's building confidence for those guys on the receiving end. So you're talking Greg Ward, Dallas Goedert, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, that whole group. We know that Carson Wentz has faith in guys like Zach Ertz, but building faith on with the rest of those guys, it's going to be huge down the stretch.
How about going back to Dallas on the same play they missed earlier where it seemed like they weren't on the right page on the key 3rd down right there on that final drive? He gives that ball to Dallas. I mean, it is a dime that Dallas is able to catch there. So that goes right to your point of just building trust with those guys. They were sort of not on the same page early in the game. They obviously went to the sideline, talked it out, and Carson came back to him in a clutch situation late in the game.
Well, and I thought it was very well said by Dave that Carson played mistake-free football, took care of the football, didn't throw any interceptions, had that one fumble, but recovered his own fumble very quickly. And one of our guys watching the game with us was like, I don't think it should count if he recovers his own fumble. It still counts, but it still counts, but did a really good job taking care of the ball. And tell me if you guys are seeing this, because it almost reminds me of last year when Nick Foles came in, and it was like he had this chemistry with these pass catchers around him that maybe Carson didn't have with those guys. But now is it that Carson has that chemistry with these guys? Maybe these are the guys that he's kind of finding that vibe with a little bit more. I don't know. There's something about that connection that almost reminds me of the Nick Foles effect last year with some of the guys that were catching those passes from him.
Success is funny like that. I mean, anytime you're having success, it's easy to kind of build chemistry and everybody to get happy and kind of buy in. I think that really helps in this scenario. When we're now on a 3-game win streak, all 3 games coming within the division, it's easy for everybody now to say, all right, let's go. We're ready to go. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. That's
true. Seeing is believing. All right, Dave Spadaro caught up with Rodney McLeod after the win to hear about stopping this Dallas offensive attack. Let's hear from Dave and Rodney.
Field insider Dave Spadaro with safety Rodney McLeod. And Rodney, what a great defensive effort. You shut down Ezekiel Elliott. What worked out there?
Man, you got to give credit to the front 7, man. Battled all night. You know what I'm saying? Physical game, and we showed up, man, and it paid off tonight.
How much of the emotion from the fans here at Lincoln Financial Field helped the cause today?
Oh, man, yeah, they was rocking since the first play, man. We couldn't do it without these, fans out here tonight. And you know what I'm saying? We're going to need them, you know what I'm saying, when we bring this thing back for the playoffs, man, divisional round. We got to win next week, but I got a feeling we're going to be here.
1 win to go, and the Eagles, the NFC East champions. Rodney, thanks so much.
Appreciate you.
Rodney McLeod, Eagles safety.
Yes, you got to love the energy from those guys. I also love Greg Ward in the back of that shot. That is the best part of it.
JP as well.
Yes, I mean, they're just having the time of their lives. I love it. Let's talk a little bit more about that defense and overcoming all of those injuries that happened. We saw, look, Ronald Darby left the game, did not return. Jalen Mills was out for a while. He came back. Fletcher, we weren't so sure. Fletcher plays through pain so much. Like,
Yeah.
it is remarkable to me. It takes a lot to get that guy out of a game. And Tim Jernigan coming in and out. And I was expecting, Ike, I was expecting to see Dallas kind of attack the backup corners, Rasul Douglas and Sidney, a little bit more. I was expecting them to see them kind of try to attack that vulnerability there a little bit. We saw it a little bit, but I felt like we saw some passes drop by Dallas receivers. We saw Dak inaccurate, and then then those Eagles corners stepped up and made those plays when they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Dak struggled throwing the ball outside the numbers, right? Not necessarily throwing it deep, but the strength was there, but the accuracy wasn't there. And no doubt his shoulder was probably bothering him a little bit. Their receivers got behind us.
Yeah, they did.
We were fortunate on some of those plays that Dak was definitely off, and they have to make sure they correct that, because Daniel Jones also has a good arm, and he has a good core receivers to get the ball to, so we got to make sure we shore those things up. But then our young guys, I thought they did a better job today making plays on the ball. I mean, Sidney Jones coming in, having to make a play there.
It's like that Giants game.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like about these young guys, is that they don't necessarily get down mentally when they're not out there playing. It seems as if when their number is called, they're ready to go out there. And Sidney, the last couple of weeks, haven't had a ton of snaps. He's been thrown in difficult situations, knowing that offense is going to go right at him, and he's come up with some nice plays. So I think the young guys, they're still learning. There's still some work to do there. As it is with any pass defense, particularly ours, we're going to need help up front. You need to get guys that can get to the quarterback. I feel a little more comfortable next week. Daniel Jones is young. Maybe we can throw some different coverages at him that'll make him hold on to that ball. But Dak wasn't going to be sacked today. He wasn't going to be hit today. He got the ball out of his hands. But he was inaccurate. He was off. And he had, about 7 drops out there today?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like 7 drops today. So, hey, it's good to be on that side of the coin every once in a while. We've certainly been on the other side of that coin before.
Some of those things definitely went our way today. Let's talk about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. 2 catches in that really nice opening drive for the Eagles. He is one-on-one with Eagles insider Dave Spadaro.
All right, here on the field with rookie wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. How's it feel to be in a playoff atmosphere like it was today?
Man, it's incredible. These are things that you dream about as a kid, to be out in front of thousands of fans, millions at home. And not only that, but to go out here and get a win, not only for us, but the whole city. It's incredible.
JJ, the offense really moved the ball well. You got involved early. What was the game plan coming in, and what do you think you guys executed?
I mean, we're playing Dallas, so, we had a little bit more energy to our step, but, we came out, we said we was going to come out fast and punch them in the mouth as soon as we could, and then we're going to go out and carry it throughout the game.
How'd number 11 play, Carson Wentz?
Amazing, as always.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, 1 more to go against the New York Giants, and the Eagles come back here NFC East champions.
Love it. Love looking at the crowd. He's soaking in that moment. Love to see that from the Eagles rookie. Ike, let's get to your takeaways. What's the first one?
Well, I've been talking a lot about the defense, so I think we got to start there. And to hold the number 1 offense in the NFL to just 3 field goals and keep them out of the end zone, my hat's off to Jim Schwartz for the game plan that he came up with. I talked earlier in the week on my radio show about who was under the most pressure, who needed to step up the most. And Jim Schwartz was the first guy, right? I mean, in order to beat the Dallas Cowboys, you had better come up with a game plan to slow down this high-powered offense. And slowing down Ezekiel Elliott today, a guy that's averaged over 160 yards from scrimmage against the Eagles in his 5 games against the Eagles. They did a nice job today. Zeke had a couple nice runs in the second half, but nothing significant.
All right, and let's point out that this is the first time that Ezekiel Elliott has lost to the Eagles.
It's about time.
Yes, it is about time. All right, head coach Doug Pederson is about to share his thoughts. Here we go.
Birthday tomorrow. You beat Dallas. Right? We just wanted to go 1-0.
What do you feel was the key today? Getting up early, getting ahead early?
Well, obviously taking care of the football, and getting up early and sustaining throughout the game. If you want to talk about a team win. This was definitely a team win. Offense, defense, and special teams. But probably the giveaway takeaway margin for us helped us sustain in this game.
The 80-yard drive, Carson was perfect again when he had to be, and you got in for the score there. You went up-tempo again. Is that something now that you feel like is really working for your offense?
It has been. It's something that obviously our guys really, take to heart, obviously, and do well. Our quarterback likes it. Offensive line like it. I mean, everybody just feels comfortable there, and we had success tonight. So something that we continue to build upon each week.
What is it about it that works for Carson specifically in terms of defined reads?
I think we can help him by formation. The defense can be a little more kind of their base defense, their base structure, whether they're nickel or base defense on the field. Sees things, quickly, allows him to get in and out of plays if he has to. And then our guys just execute well. It's been something that's obviously been positive for our offense.
What can you say about your defense? It doesn't.
Who is this?
You gotta go. Who are you with?
Is he credentialed?
Douglas. Can I finish the question?
Timeout.
It's one or a full.
Yeah, I want a full. Holy cow. This will be on SportsCenter. All right, go ahead.
What can you say about your defense that didn't allow them a touchdown in this game?
Man, defense, hats off. I mean, these guys, they took this game, I think, personal from the standpoint of what happened to us the first time, and having all our guys out there. They had a great week of preparation, obviously, and we knew that coming in here that, Dallas they were coming off a great win last week, against the Rams, and 250-something yards rushing, and they knew that was coming, and being able to, at least, shut that down to some degree. It's a pride thing each week, and to keep this is a great offense. They can score points, and to keep them out of the end zone, hold them to 3 kicks like they did, stop them on some 4th downs. Hats off to the defense, Coach Schwartz and his staff for having a great game plan.
What is it about you guys in December? I mean, I'd assume you'd rather it not come down to these last few games like this every time, but what does it say about your team, and what is it with you guys?
Well, I think it's just, obviously, yeah, you don't want it to come down to the month of December. I mean, but you'd like to play a little better, September, October, and November. But I just think the guys, this is the team that when their back's against the wall, I mean, they come out swinging and fighting and whatever it takes. Sometimes it's not pretty, and it doesn't have to be, and just put some plays together, score more points than our opponent, hold our opponents down, and just play great team football. And if we don't beat ourselves, we give ourselves a chance, and that was what happened tonight.
What can you say about how Dallas played today, Dallas Goedert played today, and how he's kind of progressed through the season?
Dallas had an outstanding game, as did many of our younger players in this football game again. And he's so tough, not only in the run game, but he made some big catches tonight and extended some drives for us. And he's got a great rapport, obviously, with Carson, being on the same page, and just had a really good game.
Miles Sanders has been getting better and better every week. How impressed were you with this kind of workload he had to get in a game like this to see what he did tonight?
I mean, it's just it doesn't surprise me. This is why we drafted him, obviously. For this type of for these types of games and performance, he just seems to get a little bit stronger and a little bit better each week. And he had another good performance tonight. I thought the offensive line, as the game progressed, got stronger and stronger, and it was just really good to see. Got the running game kind of on track in the second half, but Miles is really kind of coming into his own now as a young player and really helping us, offensively.
Joe, you mentioned some of those younger players, not just Miles, but talked a lot about Greg and Josh. And to have those guys playing in this environment, not a playoff game, but playoff-like atmosphere.
Yes, it is. It's a playoff game. Tonight was a playoff game.
What does it mean to that?
It means everything. And I think that's something that our team understands, that each week now, starting a couple weeks ago, every week was a playoff game. Otherwise, we're going to go home here in a couple of weeks. But, our season's not done. We got another week left. I think that our team understands that. We got another division opponent on the road, a chance to continue our season. And it's going to take another 60-minute game. We went to overtime, with this team a couple weeks ago. And, our guys will have to be ready again, to get healthy, with a holiday week coming up and everything that's happening this week and prepare and get ready to play the Giants.
Given the amount of snaps you've needed from those younger guys, how much and in what ways has Carson's role changed throughout the year?
Start your
leadership.
Carson?
Yeah.
I just think that he's, he just continues to coach on the field. You see him during the games, talking with these guys, and it's just helping him, and I think you're seeing the trust factor with some of these young guys, that he's leaning on them a little bit more, and that's what you got to do. I mean, listen, these are the guys we're playing with, so we've got to do that. He's done an outstanding job of leading the team, not only the offense but the whole team, and had another solid performance today, and we just got to keep it rolling.
Miles Sanders is most dangerous when he's in space, and do you envision him, lining up in the slot or just lying him all over the place because of that?
Yeah, I mean, we feel like he can do that, but we still got to be careful with him. I don't want to do too much with him mentally. I want him to continue to play fast and but I think he's versatile enough to play in space, play in an empty formation, or play a slot receiver, which he did some tonight. And he's just a really good athlete for us, and we'll just continue to find ways to try to give him the ball.
Doug, holiday week, some distractions. Guys feel good coming off a big win. You have to guard against a little human nature here.
You do, but I'll tell you this: these guys in the locker room, they're focused on next week already. And that's kind of the conversation that is taking place in the locker room, even after this game. I want them to enjoy this and enjoy their families this week. That's what this time of the year is for. But at the same time, we've still got some unfinished business, and that's what they're talking about. So that's exciting for me as a coach to know that that's where their mind's at, and we have to. I can help them out with the schedule and all that this week, but I'm excited for them.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Okay, very exciting stuff there. Some of the highlights for me, we just wanted to go 1-0 this week. Of course, we know that. The classic mantra around these walls, getting up early and winning the turnover battle were key. And we were just kind of talking in here, guys, about just the difference between this game and the first time Philadelphia and Dallas played. 2 quick fumbles, 2 quick scores for Dallas. The Eagles are down 14-0. This game totally different. You go up 10-0. The defense does 2 3-and-outs consecutively, and then of course winning the turnover battle was huge for them today. So totally different story in this one, Fran.
I know we're in the middle of doing Ike's takeaways.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just so excited.
But I want to give love to you for what you said during kickoff, a kickoff show. You had 3 points. There were 3 keys to victory for the Eagles: time of possession, stopping Ezekiel Elliott, and the turnover margin. All 3 came true.
All 3 went in the Eagles' favor, and that, I think, is why they got that W. There you go.
That's right. Got that W.
That's why you're sitting in the middle.
That's why I steer the spaceship here. Okay, what's your second takeaway?
Well, Doug he finished up his presser talking about the quarterback, and obviously I think the defense led the charge today, but you can't understate how well Carson Wentz played today. Being undermanned with some of his weapons, the fact that he had to go out there and trust these guys and give them an opportunity to make plays. And from the very first play of the game, you knew it was going to be a good day. To come out with that first play action pass and hit Arcega-Whiteside, and Arcega goes up to catch that ball, man, that was a nice play call from Doug. Young guy came through for him, and Carson seemed to be off and running from that standpoint. And I thought Doug called a great game today. He made some nice calls where Carson can get the ball out of his hands quick, did a nice job with the screen game today. I thought the tight end screen game was big today. And then late in the game, he had the one throw I know he'll want back is the screen play to Miles Sanders, where they probably could have extended that drive and possibly gave Jake Elliott another opportunity to kick the ball. But other than that, I thought he made pretty much every throw that needed to be made today. And the fact that he was able to take care of the football, we had the one play where he fumbled it, fell right back on it. I noticed when he took off today, he put two hands on the ball.
Yep.
I noticed it. So you know he's conscious of these things. And the fact that he was a part of the running game as well, 6 rushing attempts for him today, man, just a big game for him. He mentioned it was the biggest game of his career. If he's going to play like this in big games, we're going to win a lot of big games through this young man's career because he was poised today. He didn't play over-amped. He could have easily come out and been too excited, overthrow guys, be too amped up, and I thought he was calm, cool, and collected from the opening drive of the game, and it showed on the first 2 series.
Yeah, and I thought, we talked about it earlier, even if he was a little bit amped up, the fact that those guys came through and made some big plays for him, that the defense came out, started the game with 2 3-and-outs, was just huge. And Doug said at the very top of his press conference, complete team win. I thought this was a complete team win. Certainly Carson Wentz, and I said this during the kickoff show, Amy, that there was going to be so much put on him coming out of this game. Win or loss, fair or not, with all the weapons that he did not have at his disposal, so much was going to be put on his plate. He came through in the clutch.
And for times without Zach Ertz, without Arcega-Whiteside, I mean, you're just down to the last, the bottom of the barrel there, and those guys still making plays for Carson Wentz. I know you said the Giants game was the most important win of his career. Now he's had 3 solid ones in a row.
Yeah.
Do you
They
still
get
think
bigger.
You think everyone is bigger than the last one?
Yes.
So this is the best one today.
Yes, this is the biggest win of his career, and they're going to continue to get bigger.
Yep.
If they happen next week. Again, that's a game you have to win to be in the playoffs. So next week's game on the road becomes the biggest game of his career, and you hope they continue to get bigger and bigger. You hope you get a chance to see him in the postseason. That's going to be the biggest game of his career, and then hopefully the ultimate game will be the biggest game of his career. He's built for these moments. I wanted to see him in this type of a moment late in the season to see how he responds to it. Man, if you're an Eagles fan, and today is any indicator of what he's going to be like on the biggest stages, we're going to win. We're going to be happy with Carson Wentz here as our quarterback here over the next decade.
It's true. We haven't seen him in this situation before, this late in the season with this much on the line. So we're learning more about what he is actually capable of, and it's absolutely something exciting.
And it's not like the deck is stacked in his favor.
No.
It's not like the deck is stacked in his favor. And I don't know if I were the quarterback how I would be responding and reacting to the circumstances that are here right now. You know what's at stake. You know what everyone's expecting of you. And you also know the cards that you've been dealt. But this guy doesn't seem to be bothered by any of it. He's always speaking positive and glowing about his teammates. He's uplifting these guys. He's raising their level of play, at the same time raising his level of play. It's what a franchise quarterback is supposed to do.
Let's get to your third takeaway.
And I think the biggest takeaway from today is the coaches on both sides of the ball. Doug Pederson, Jim Schwartz, the game plans they put together. I know the point total on the offensive side of the ball won't look as if Doug put together some masterpiece, but you look at the yardage total, you look at the time of possession, they should have netted way more points than they scored today. They had opportunities, obviously missed a couple field goals. But I love the game plan that Doug put together. Short, quick throws, attack the Cowboys' weaknesses, those linebackers and safeties, covering the running backs and tight ends in the passing game. They ate up the clock. They went for it when they needed to. And then even bigger than Doug, I thought Jim Schwartz's game plan today, the fact that he had his guys ready to go today really carried the day for this team. To hold that offense, I can't say it enough. I'm just so shocked.
3 of 14 on third down.
Exactly. I'm just
wild.
I'm actually shocked by it because I know when Dallas gets rolling offensively, they can score points in bunches. And for this defense to basically hold them the way they did for basically 3.5 quarters, man, just an outstanding job by the defense. I think it was their most impressive performance considering the circumstances today.
Considering the injuries as
yes.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, you look at both sides of the football, there's going to be so much that we can point to throughout the course of this week. And I'm excited to kind of dive into the film. Offensively, to me, going off your point, like, I just love the variety.
Yeah.
You know, when you have what the circumstances facing this offense right now, they have to try and get creative. If they're only going to operate within that 10 to 15-yard range, now you've got to say, all right, how are we going to dress up these screens this week? Because you can only do a screen pass in so many different ways. So the fact that they were to get some of these going and have the guys look so wide open, to me, I mean, that speaks to the creativity of Doug Pederson and this coaching staff in that area of the game. They had a couple of key penalties as well, Ike, that kind of put them out of range where it looked like they were going to get rolling. Jason Peters had that key one on a perfectly designed screen to Dallas Goedert. Jason Kelsey had one a little bit later. So I think when you look at the design of this offense and what they were able to do, you know, talking about Doug and his flow as a game planner, I thought that was put on display tonight.
Well, and this offense looks so different than what we thought it would look like at the beginning of the season with the different personnel. But you know it remained the same today, Fran. A lot of 12 personnel. And I believe we're going to hear from Carson Wentz on this win.
How did it feel to beat the Cowboys, especially with the way the last one went and how history?
Yeah, that was a big win for us. Big win for us. The crowd was electric tonight. You know, it felt like playoff atmosphere. Just like we've said the last few weeks, our backs were against the wall, and guys made plays. Defense played great. Offensively, we definitely left some plays and some points out there, but man, it feels good to get this victory.
Carson, Doug called it a playoff game tonight. You said you want to play in big games like this late in the season. How did it feel to be out there and then play so well?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, it felt great to be out there with my guys again. And like I said, that playoff atmosphere, you can't beat it. Can't beat it, especially being at home here. The fans were awesome tonight. Guys made plays, but you know, at the end of the day, we still got one more.
Carson, seems for the second consecutive week you had some tempo to get you guys going offensively. How much is that helping you?
It's helping quite a bit. I mean, you see it. You know, there's evidence, obviously, that it is helping us, and you know, I think that's one thing that Coach. I've said it before, but he just has a really good feel for when to utilize it. You know, when to utilize it, whether you know that he feels the defense is they're on the ropes, or if we're just we're moving the ball, whatever it takes. But Coach has a really good sense of when to do that and when not to.
Carson, the long pass to Greg that actually set up Miles' touchdown. Has that play been in the playbook a while? And it's felt like we've seen that route combo from you guys before.
Yeah, it was sweet to be able to do it at the line. You know, at the line of scrimmage. You know, got that linebacker out there in space and played with his eyes a little bit. And obviously, Greg came wide open down the sideline, did a great job. That was a big play for us.
Carson, with all these young guys that are growing up at this time with you working with them, it seems like everything's coming together.
I'm so proud of these guys. I'm so proud of them. It's been really fun. You know, obviously we've had our backs against the wall for a while now, and you know, just you can see the sense of belief that each of these guys have. You know, and you see it each week with them getting better and better, and believing in themselves and believing in this team. And I can't say enough good things about these young guys that are continually stepping up for us, and we're going to need these guys down the stretch.
Zach got banged up early in the game, and Dallas stepped up. He had career high in receptions and yards. Can you talk about that, and how nice is it to have two tight ends like that in your arsenal?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, to have really even three. You know, I mean, Josh Perkins, I don't know what he had for catches, if any, tonight, but, you know, he's a weapon that we feel we can take advantage of as well. You know, I feel terrible that Zach, you know, got banged up. You know, I did that to him. I owe him something now. But, you know, we've had Dallas even last year. You know, we know what he can do. You know, we know what he can do. And, you know, he stepped up and made a bunch of big plays for us tonight, and he's a competitor for us.
Carson, what about the way the coaches have kind of tailored the offense to all these new guys? I mean, it's just not the way it was drawn up back in the summer.
Yeah, hats off. You know, hats off to the coaches, putting together this game plan and doing what we can. to get our playmakers the ball, get them in space and just building this offense to each guy's strengths, and that's really what good coaching is. And you've seen that these last few weeks with the game plans and how we put it together. And, it's been fun putting it together with them.
So you've been in a survive and advance mode now for the last couple of weeks, and now you're ready to separate to play for the division. Can you think about the opportunity that presents itself to you guys next week?
Yeah, we're excited. That was one of the first things that I was feeling in there. Obviously, everyone's excited about this win, but hey, we got one more. We got to go win one more. We've won nothing yet, but we're excited for the opportunity. It's in our own hands to go take it, and we're excited for it.
So what do you have to do to kind of avoid that letdown?
Just get back on it. Get back on it, prepare the same way we always do. And have no letdowns. And it's going to take, the leaders to make sure we're emphasizing that point. But at the same time, even just talking to a lot of the guys in the locker room, I can already feel that. I can already feel that, hey, no one's complacent now or feels like we've won anything. We got to go prove it again, and we're excited for it.
In some ways, as playing with these young guys the last couple of weeks kind of reaffirmed the belief you have in yourself as a leader and a quarterback?
It's hard to say. It's just been, I use the word fun just because it has been fun, seeing some of these guys just grow up right before our eyes, and in practice we've seen guys do it some of these guys do it for a while, and some of these guys we haven't really seen them much at all. But, it's almost something new every time that we're working with, and just seeing them grow up and make plays, and the moment's not too big for any of these guys, and I just love seeing that, and it's encouraging. And guys, on defense and offense, everyone's just rallying together with a sense of belief, and that's what we're going to need.
You get the early jump on them this time around. How key was that for this team today?
Say that again?
You get the early jump on them. Yeah. How key was that for this team?
That was big. That was big, especially, it feels like we've been down to these guys, the last handful of games. And to come out swinging early the way we did, we got the field goal. We'd like to get a touchdown there and be able to got those 10 points, wanted to stay on it. But it was big for us to come out and really start getting some momentum offensively.
Carson, actually all year than the other time in Dallas, the way you approached them, was there something you tried to tactics you weren't able to do there?
Not really. I felt, even last time against them, I had a great game plan, and we just didn't make the plays. Last time we had all the turnovers and put ourselves in really tough situations, and today we were able to convert a handful of third downs. There's still a handful that we want back, but we were able to stay on the field, and at the end of the day, we just made enough plays.
A little bit of a different week coming up with the holidays, and there's some human nature involved in that, to be pulled in different directions. As Doug talked to you guys, the leaders, and try to keep that sense of urgency going.
Absolutely. Yeah, you even go back to the Thanksgiving week, just it's important to have that moment with our families and stuff, and Coach definitely emphasizes that. But when we're working, we're working. Nothing changes on that front, and obviously it's an exciting time of year. Christmas means a lot to a lot of us. The family part will definitely be there, but like I said, when we're working, it's go time.
Carson, you've been asked a lot about the personality of this football team. Now 15 games in, how would you define it?
Resilient, energetic. I think there's been a lot of excitement with the unknown. I think that a lot of new faces, a lot of guys that maybe weren't expected to be making these plays, and so that unknown factor just is exciting. And I think just the resiliency that I've seen. That it's been the next man up mentality from really the moment I got here in Philly. But you just see it over and over, and it's exciting to see these guys come to work with a sense of belief and the pride they take in their work, and to get it done out here on Sundays.
Carson, on the window throw that you made to Goddard in the back of the end zone, you got it over the linebacker and in between a couple of defenders. What did you see on that play, and we'll go out?
Yeah, that was the read. To look frontside quick and come back to Dallas. Dallas played big, and you got a body like he does that can jump out of the building the way he can. I just had to put it up in a tall spot for him to go get it over those guys, and he made a great play.
Carson, you spent the last 2 years watching games like this late in December on the sideline. Is it relief, satisfying just as much to finally be out there for something like this?
Absolutely. The last couple of years where I was on the sideline, that's not where I want to be. But at the end of the day, God has a plan for it, and I'm trying to make the most of the opportunities. But it's fun, like I said, to be out there and playoff type atmospheres and environments with my teammates, and to get a big win like this.
Of course, you mentioned that belief grow. You see it growing, you feel it growing, over these last 3 weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, anytime you have the late game wins, you know, in the way we have really the last 2 weeks, and now here tonight, defense making a huge play at the end of the game, you know, and it's someone different making the big play kind of every week. But, you know, you can just feel that belief that guys, hey, we're going to get this done. We're going to win this game. We're going to find a way. And we did that again. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
All right, a little holiday flair there from the Eagles quarterback, who had an incredible game, completing 77.5% of his passes to 8 different pass catchers in this win against Dallas, as he continues to will this team to victory. Some of those best moments we all want to hear from Mike and Merrill. Here is Merrill Cam for this Eagles win over Dallas.
On first down, Wentz into a deep count, fakes, he's rolling. He's still rolling. He is looking. He fires. Leaping reception. And coming down with it is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in Dallas territory. What a throw. What a catch. Wentz fakes. Wentz looks. Wentz fires. Touchdown! Dallas Goddard, 8 yards deep. Wentz. First down, he fakes. He's back. He's looking. He is floating it. Complete. Ward, 30. 25, 20, out of bounds at the 18, Greg Ward.
Outstanding play call, getting Greg Ward out there.
Wentz, back, goes to Sanders. He's in, touchdown! In the gun, Prescott, ball at their own 49. Eagles lead by 11 in the fourth quarter. Prescott back again. He pumps, he is hit, he starts to run. They've got him back at the 46. Josh Sweat, the sack. It is 4th down and 8. 4th and 8. Can the Eagles stop them here? Prescott in the gun. 3 receivers right. 1 left. Prescott back. Prescott steps up. He is firing deep, and it is incomplete. Incomplete. Broken up by Sidney Jones, who made the play of the day against the Giants 2 weeks ago. Wentz comes back. Goes to Sanders. He's ahead. He's free. 50, 40, 30, 20, and he slides down at the 20, and this game is over. 42 seconds left, but this game is over as Miles Sanders breaks it and slides down at the 20.
Start the buses.
48-yard run.
Yep, they can start the buses.
And the seconds tick away, and the Eagles are alive. The Eagles are 1 win over the New York Giants, away from a home playoff game, as they beat the Dallas Cowboys 17-9.
It is impossible to watch that and not have a big smile on your face. Doug Pederson saying earlier tonight, hey, when we don't beat ourselves, we give ourselves a chance. That is exactly what we saw from this Eagles team tonight. Head coach Doug Pederson one-on-one with Mike Quick. Take a look.
Coach, first, congratulations. You know, you and I talked about this week. We talked about week 16, and it would come down to that. What, in your mind, was the difference in today's game?
I think there's a couple of things. One, we took care of the football.
Yep.
You know, we didn't give them the ball from a turnover standpoint. Defense, outstanding, stopping the run, at least slowing down the run. And then I think offensively getting the run game going. I think that was a big part of this success. And then our hurry up tempo was another factor. I think special teams, you know, we on some kickoffs, we did some great job of covering some kicks. And so to me, this was this is a great team win,
Yep.
and I think that's the difference. And from this week to week 7 or so.
How big of a factor was the fact that you were able to limit Ezekiel Elliott's touches and his production?
Well, he's such a great player, and he takes a lot of the focal point of your defense. You know, you got to know where he's at, obviously, and he's going to get his touches, and he's a good player. And again, hats off to Jim Schwartz, put a great plan together. The guys executed that plan, hung in there. And just battled, and that's, again, against good football teams, that's what it takes. And sometimes it's never going to be pretty, especially against the Dallas Cowboys, NFC East opponents, and just so happy for our guys in this win.
You talk about Schwartz and his defense. They didn't give up a touchdown today in that game. How big is that you keep them off of the scoreboard, and at least in a touchdown category?
Well, when you think about what this team offensively has done, and especially last week, and not only their rushing yards and scoring points against a really good defense in the Rams, and my hat's off to Coach Schwartz and the defense and keeping this team out. They can score. I mean,
Right.
We know that. We know they can score. Amari Cooper is one of the best receivers in the league. They obviously got a great rushing attack. Dak can do some things with his legs, and
again, my hat's off not only to the players but the coaches on defense for a great plan.
Carson even admitted this week that this is probably his biggest game. He threw 31 for 40, over 300 yards passing. How big was Carson tonight?
He was huge. I mean, he was huge again. I mean, this is, I think now we're starting to see as the offense, evolves around him with some of these young players, just kind of who Carson is. And it's taken us a little while to get to that point, but some of that's on me too, from a play caller and understanding Carson's strengths and our offensive strengths. And again, he put the team on his back, and he didn't. I didn't want him to feel like he had to go win the game. You know what I'm saying? I wanted the game to come to him, and that's what he's done these last few weeks, and he did it again today.
Coach, you're going to help all the Eagles fans now to have a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Coach.
Thanks, Quake. Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to all our Eagles fans.
Everyone's so happy and holiday cheery. I love it. All right, we're going to take a very quick break. Hang with us for 90 seconds. We have the Ricoh review coming up, the Toyota Player of the Week, your chance to win a free Toyota. So we will see you in 90 seconds. Hang with us.
Was the official hoagie of the Philadelphia Eagles.
You're on the road and now you pray it lasts. The road behind was rocky. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep on.
Sometimes we prosper most when we help others. We respect that. Because at Santander Bank, respect.
Glad to have you with us on the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh. Dallas Goedert, a career night for him, a career-high 9 receptions. He caught 91 yards worth of passes. Okay, 91 yards, we're very excited. And a touchdown. That touchdown is the subject of today's Ricoh review from Fran Duffy. Take it away, Fran.
All right, Eagles are up now 3-0, and on their second drive, they go right down the field. You get a couple of big plays from Miles Sanders. They get into the low red zone, and they go to one of their most reliable routes down in that area of the field, a stick nod route for a touchdown to Dallas Goedert. But this is a really good play design, and we're going to start here. You're going to see it's 12 personnel, a YY set, 2 tight ends lined up right next to each other, close to the formation. You've got 2 receivers to the top of the screen. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who's going to end up running kind of a skinny post here into the middle of the field, and then also Greg Ward, and he's going to be a very important piece of this play. He is going to be the eye candy for Carson Wentz because he was a big receiver for them last week, especially down in the red zone. He's going to pretend as if he's coming in to catch this screen pass. We're going to let this run for a sec, and you're going to see right when Carson is preparing to take the snap, watch Greg Ward. He throws those hands up, and Carson Wentz throws that pump fake. Look at the Dallas defenders, eyes all into the slot, looking at Greg Ward. The guy that they want to make sure they occupy is this free safety here, Xavier Woods. They want his eyes right there on number 84 because on the back side of this play, you're going to see that they're running, again, that stick nod route where you've got Dallas Goedert pretending he's going to run a little stick route to the sideline, then he's going to bust it to the post. This nod portion of the route, he's gotten so much better over the course of the last couple of years at running this route. You need to be really patient. Don't rush it. Don't speed your way through it. You really need to sell this route. Make sure that all these defenders buy that you're heading to the sideline and then sell it right up to the post. Now, you're going to see when Carson Wentz comes back to this side of the field, you're going to have to put this up really, really high. Into this area of the field, you need to put it up high above the face mask. Don't give this guy the opportunity to make the play on the ball. We can let this run. This was a perfect throw from number 11. He puts this up over the linebacker, Sean Lee, away from the safety, Xavier Woods. Only Dallas Goedert can make this play. Number 88 comes down with a touchdown in the back of the end zone. Eagles go up 10-0.
All right, thank you, Fran. We are going to take one more quick break. On the other side, we have your nominees for the Toyota Player of the Week. Don't miss your chance to win a free Toyota. We'll see you in a minute. Now is your chance to vote for the Toyota Player of the Week. Go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Toyota Player of the Week to cast your vote and get a chance at a brand new Toyota. This week's nominees, it's Fletcher Cox, Miles Sanders, and Carson Wentz. 3 players who had incredible games today. Ike, I think I have to go with Carson. I'm a little torn there. Fletcher had maybe his best game of the season, stopping Zeke Elliott, playing hurt.
Yeah.
There's definitely arguments to be made for all 3 of these.
Miles, big, another big game from Miles Sanders.
Big game from Miles.
And we didn't get a chance to mention it, Amy, so I want to mention it before we go off the air. What an unselfish act from Miles Sanders, reminiscent of Brian Westbrook against the very same Dallas Cowboys on a Monday night years ago, where he could have very easily gone in, scored a touchdown, unselfishly and wisely, goes down, ends all suspense, game is over. Miles Sanders right there, nice job, not going in the end zone. Just gives you an idea of what we're going to be privileged to watch over this young man's career. That's just another example of who he is as a person. So nice job from the young man, Miles Sanders.
I'm glad you brought that up. And of course, that sliding with style. We love to see that little extra flair from Miles Sanders as well.
But my vote would have went to Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, I think I probably would have. Yeah, Fletcher.
On the defense. He has to be the representative of the defense today.
Yes, that's fair. You always got to give some love. But again, playing hurt, the way he plays through pain, more than people even know. It takes a lot to stop that guy. All right. Time to look ahead to next week. We will be facing the Giants. The Giants coming off a 41-35 overtime win over Washington today for rookie quarterback Daniel Jones. The second meeting between these two, the Eagles victorious against them in the first one. I guess the Giants play a lot of overtime games these days. Going to be a different quarterback under center, though, than the Eagles faced the first time around. What do you see in this matchup?
Yeah, get our first look at rookie first-round draft pick Daniel Jones. We had to face Eli, obviously, a couple weeks ago on Monday night. Daniel Jones healthy, more athletic. I think he has a live arm. Threw 5 touchdowns today, obviously going up against that Redskins defense, but still able to take advantage of that. Going to need another good game plan.
Yep.
Young man hasn't seen everything the NFL has to offer from a defensive scheme standpoint. So I think Jim Schwartz can have some fun coming up with some different looks that can sort of confuse young Daniel Jones. You get him back there rattled, he will turn the ball over. So that's going to be big next week. Going on the road for the Eagles. The most dangerous thing is a team that has nothing to lose.
Yep.
So you got to go in there and not give the Giants any reasons to believe they can win that game next week. If you let them hang around, you're going to be in another dogfight with a team that you should seemingly take care of business against. But you can't underestimate them. had a proper respect for your opponent going in, knowing what's at stake. But you know how this is going to be, Amy.
Yes.
This will be another tough game for us
Always.
next week.
Every game is tough. Well, and look, when you talk
be.
about a quarterback building confidence, what we've seen from Carson Wentz the past few games, you could say the same thing for Daniel Jones with this victory. 41 points for a rookie quarterback. Like he's got to be feeling pretty good about that as well heading into. And he, of course, wants to make a good impression and kind of solidify himself there as well as the Giants quarterback there. So definitely plenty for them to play for, especially for Daniel Jones as well. As always, we will be right back here 30 minutes before kickoff on the pregame show presented by Exalta. Fran Duffy will be joining me, and we will always be right back here as soon as the game is over to break down. Excuse me, I'm so excited about this win, to break down all the angles, all of the analysis, and of course, all throughout this week, we'll have plenty of analysis as well of this win and looking ahead to the Giants game. We will see you guys next week. Happy holidays, everybody. We will catch you on Sunday when the Eagles take on the Giants and hopefully secure their playoff spot. Happy holidays.